Hello everybody and welcome to CFC Fan TV. Now please remember that we are on Patreon. The link is in the description below for extra videos, so if you want to sign up, we'd be so grateful. We have a very interesting debate today and a very important debate, don't we, for Sophie versus Rory?
We certainly do, and I think I could be onto a hiding. We are going to be discussing Marco Ianni. He has been charged by the FA for improper conduct, and we're going to debate who you think is right or wrong about that incident.
So I've not had the best time on Sophie versus Rory lately. I've found myself agreeing with Rory on many occasions, but on this occasion I think I might have a chance of winning this. But I'm going to let you argue your case first, Rory. Why are you not? Rory is not happy about him being charged. You're more in favour.
I don't think he did anything wrong.
Oh, for God's sake!
I genuinely don't think he did anything wrong. I think that there's something. Look, I fully concede that I'm about to get hiding in these comments. I really do, because I think people love to have the moral high ground. People love to go, "Oh gosh, how can you possibly behave like that?" and use it as a way to elevate their own personality. Okay. Oh, I would never do. That's what people like to say. Oh, can you believe the behaviour from him? I think it's really natural behaviour. Chelsea scored a 96th minute equaliser against a huge rival in a game that we were about to lose, our first game of the season. Our unbeaten record was about to go away, and we rescued it with sheer spirit, fight, determinism. And he reacted exactly as every fan in the ground did. He went crazy.
Well, yeah, and I agree. And okay, well, for my point especially is I don't have a problem with managers or assistant coaches or whoever celebrating and going crazy at a last minute equaliser. I don't have the whole thing about it's not very moral to do to shout in front of somebody else. That's not really my problem. The problem for me here is that in this game, if you do that, if you celebrate like that in front of your rivals, assistants, managers, club, whatever, you are going to start a rage, especially when that person is Jose Mourinho. And unfortunately for us, I feel like that incident, although I love the passion that he had for us getting the late win and remaining unbeaten, the problem I have is that we're no longer. It was sort of more us talking about that incident rather than the game itself. And you even said that in your fan cams. You said it's sort of taken away the limelight from us. And I don't get me wrong, I'm not a Mourinho hater, but you know exactly how to rile him up, and that sort of implication in a match would only create that.
No, but Jose Mourinho has accepted the apology. So he doesn't want to make any big deal out of it. He's done Jose Mourinho has run down the touchline at Old Trafford when his team scored a last-minute winner. Right. Jose Mourinho has gouged out an opposing assistant manager's eye. He is aware of how these things go, and as a result, has accepted the apology and doesn't want to pursue it. So he hasn't got a hump. The victim here is fine, and credit to Mourinho.
And he hasn't been charged either, which normally we're always seeing it being him on the other end of the stick.
Well, lucky for him, he hasn't been charged, because he's already being charged currently, isn't he, for his language in the Newcastle game, I think. So yeah, that's the last thing he would have needed, and I think it's right that he wasn't charged, because he didn't do anything wrong. He reacted, which you can't really blame somebody for reacting. But I think I have a question for you.
Go on, then.
That I would also like to ask anybody watching this, and I think that if you answer this question honestly, you'll have to agree that I am making the more valid point.
Go on then.
Answer honestly, please.
Okay, I'm going to.
Chelsea are playing Tottenham. Tottenham are looking like they're going to win the league.
Oh, stop it,
No,
Rory.
This is a genuine thing. You sit in the shed, right? So you're very near Tottenham fans. We're 2-0 down. We pull it back to 2-1. All of a sudden, Diego Costa and Eden Hazard link up. Eden Hazard scores to stop Tottenham winning the league, and the ground erupts. When you celebrated in the shed, when you celebrated that goal, did you celebrate purely in a Chelsea sense and only with Chelsea fans, or did you celebrate and cast an eye over to the away fans?
Well, obviously that's the away fans. If they want to do it to the fans, I'm not.
But I'm talking about the moralism between me and you here, or the people moralising watching this video. Anybody in that situation would react by going to the away fans.
As a fan. But when it's your job, when you're in a position where there are certain things that you are allowed to do and not to do. So you don't act differently in words, how you work, how you are in a day-to-day life.
But the whole problem that's happening with football, one massive issue that's happening with football at the moment, is a disparity between me and you and football players, football managers. When I was a kid, you could go to Harlington and Dennis Wise would be training and he'd kick it a bit long. You'd go and get it and kick it back to him. If you want to go down to Cobham now, you won't get near the players. The gap between players and fans has become it's a massive chasm, and what we're doing is what we've seen somebody in in the Chelsea hierarchy react in the way that we would react, and then we're judging him for it.
But I don't know if that's the case. I think it was specifically because it was Mourinho. I think if it was any other team, any other manager,
but they have
that wouldn't have been the same thing. But he hasn't. Have they worked together?
No. Well, Mourinho in his interview said that he didn't know who he was. He's like one of the backroom staff. I've no idea who the fella is.
Yeah, exactly. So what I think is that you're misunderstanding my point here. You're misunderstanding my problem with it. My problem is not the fact that he has passion for the game. If he wants to run over to the fans and hug the fans, and we've seen that with Antonio Conte last season, but that's absolutely fine. You know, I'm happy for staff to do that. What I'm saying is that moment, him riling Mourinho up, Mourinho being the sort of person he is, took away from actually some really, really good parts of that game. And bear in mind, when I did my interviews, if you guys have seen them, you'll see that I was very angry and I was a bit depressed about the result and the way we played and everything like that. But there were some very good moments in that, having looked at it back on match of the day. But unfortunately, the main thing that everyone's talking about, the main thing that everybody will be watching on television, will be that incident. So it took away from actually the fact that we are still unbeaten. I don't think I've had one.
Do you know what? There's another big issue here. There's another real problem, which is why I think that the charge shouldn't have happened. If Mourinho didn't react, so Mourinho's offence and therefore reaction has provoked this charge.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been charged if Mourinho just sat there, would he?
But you know he's not going to just. That's the whole point. He's not going to just sit there.
But effectively, the FA have reacted and persecuted the man who has provoked a reaction from someone. So basically, if you take offence, if you react, that forces the FA to.
But that's like anything, though. If somebody provokes you into doing something, I think that person's more to blame.
But Mourinho is responsible for his own actions, irrespective.
But I still think the person who causes the problem it's actually quite a sneaky thing to do, isn't it? You get it's like when you really annoy somebody and then they end up lashing out at you. It's only because of their actions and what they've been doing.
I just think that football has become so over sanitised, so
I do agree.
So clean. At times, so like boringly sterile. Mm-hmm. You know, when we have interviews with players, they say they follow a script. Like, you don't get any personality. You don't get anything out of the club that you can kind of empathise with as a fan.
But of course,
all of a sudden, we've seen it. We've seen somebody in the staff react how we would, and.
But I would be happy for that. I would be happy for that to all change. I'm happy for the players to say whatever they want. You know, do whatever. But I'm just saying, on the touchline, when you have 50,000 people watching, and you have that sort of. To me, it was just more of a dig.
Look, he shouldn't have done it.
It was a little bit unnecessary. I think he could have said it. To me, you always hit somebody with silence. That's sort of my.
No, you don't.
I just hit him with that silence.
No,
don't reply. It drives people crazy. Drives people crazy.
You shout at me all the time. You don't ever hit me with. I wish you'd hit me with silence.
Well, I can't hit you with silence though because I need to.
Silence.
No, but how mean? But I can't hit you with silence. I need to see you 3 times a week. It's different. They're not going to be meeting again for another, I don't know how many months. But no, all I'm saying is that it took the limelight away from actually Ross Barkley, if anything.
Look, should he have done it? Probably not. Does it deserve this amount of reaction? Does he deserve to be charged by the FA? Should we still be discussing it on a Tuesday?
But that's always going to be happening with Chelsea.
Absolutely not. He's a man whose team scored a last-minute equaliser in a massive game, and he over-celebrated, and now he's being hung out to dry. I just think it's a huge overreaction.
Whether you think he over-celebrated or he purposely did something to rile Mourinho up, I think is the question to ask.
I think that this debate has been fascinating, and I actually think
you've made some very good points. I have to say, but
you'll win this one. Everyone's going to think I'm wrong.
But the thing is, the reason Rory's sort of trying to twist my arm is because he's playing that card of there's no relationship between. We're quite far away from the actual game now itself, us fans, and I completely agree with all that. Just in this situation, I feel like maybe it was just slightly uncalled for and a little bit unnecessary. And I actually would rather we just got on, did our job, and continue to win games. Don't you think?
I enjoyed this one. Good debate.
It was a very good debate, Rory. Wonderful.